This is Reverend Kathy Itzin, and I'm back from sabbatical and happy to be with you today for this installment of the 3G's, grace, gratitude, and generosity. The last 2 weeks, the media has been full of the funeral and death and preparations for Queen Elizabeth. And that probably struck Carol and I more strongly because of the fact that we just got back from Scotland and Sweden, and I'll let you know about that another time. But in Scotland, we actually were at several of the places that they showed on TV. And so it was like, oh my gosh, we've been to that cathedral. Oh my gosh, that Johnny Walker on the street. We went past there thousands of times. And so it was kind of fun. And we knew people who knew them. So I've been paying more attention to it. And one thing that struck me was that almost 100% of the people interviewed, whether it was in the newspaper, on TV, on the radio, said they were impressed and appreciated the Queen's sense of duty and loyalty to her people. And when she was 17, she had that famous promise to dedicate herself to her country, service of her country and her God. And I thought that's really interesting because, number one, everybody mentioned it. And for Americans, we just don't hear the word duty very often. I almost never have. I remember very small parts of the Girl Scout promise. I promise to do my best to God and my country, to serve God and my country, like that, to do my duty to God and my country. That was it. And that was probably the only time I've ever said that word in my life. We think of responsibility. And I looked it up to see what's really the difference between responsibility and duty. And Cicero, the great philosopher, said that duty is more about who you are as a person. And your moral obligation, and I took notes here, moral obligation and values based on your place in the world, your character, and your moral expectations. Whereas responsibility is more task-oriented. And the fact that everyone, like 100% of the people I heard, mentioned that about her, that they honored her, that they were impressed with her because she had this great sense of duty and she fulfilled it. To her last, she met with the new prime minister 2 days before she died. And that's a large part of why they loved her. And I thought that's really interesting because don't we all have that in our different walks of life? And we do. Whether it is to the people we love. I mean, that's really who it is to mostly. To our God, often shown through the people we love. To the world. My tasks today are, 15. I need to get this newsletter out, the bulletin, etc., etc. But my duty, according to the difference between them, is to the people that I love, which is you, and it's also my family and my friends. And so that puts it on a different level of priority. What is important in life? And again, that's what they remembered her for. Not, I read one article that said she was not a great orator. She didn't do anything stunning that was out of the ordinary. She was a pretty ordinary person in a famous position, but she did it with her best effort and she did it well. And I thought, really, isn't that all of us in our different positions in life? To put forth our best effort, reasonably so, and to the people and the things that are the most important. And that's really what we remember other people for as well. So it's that character, who you are, how you live, and who you love. Do it. Amen.